Hello and welcome to Diniz Farms. We're back with another episode of Mercer County, and we are going to be diving into our corn harvest today. Last episode we got everything all set up here, and so I think we're pretty much ready to go at this point. We've got 2 cornfields we need to harvest today, and so we're going to start on this smaller one here and open up this headland. We'll probably do 2 headland passes here just to make sure we've got plenty of room to turn around here. And I don't think we're going to need this corn stalk straw for anything. We don't have any animals that we're taking care of at the moment here. And we don't have the money to buy any baling equipment, so we're going to skip that particular feature today. Now, we do have 2 separate fields here. I could take both of these headlands off at the same time here. In fact, I think I am going to do that. I think we're going to just skip over here and open both of these fields up real quick while we're here. It'll be easier than trying to squeeze around and take the other headland pass off there. This map has the destructible stubble feature added to it like Flint Hills did. I really like this feature, so you can see anywhere that we're driving, all the corn stalks are getting knocked down here, which is really awesome. It's one of the things that I want to add to all of my maps at this point. It just adds that extra little flavor of realism as you're driving around in the harvested fields. And I'm kind of curious how the yield is coming in here. We're at 258 bushels an acre. If I pop open the map here, you can see we're doing pretty good, although we're missing a row here as we get over. Let's jump back onto the right row. And so the yield in our 2 fields here is looking pretty good. If I pop open the precision farming map here, we can see mostly green yield. We got a little bit of orange yellow down there. It looks like that's probably due to the soil type here. And so just opening up the headland pass here, we're gonna be just about full, which is actually pretty sweet. That's a lot of corn coming in here, and it looks like the hopper on this combine is going to be probably right around 300 bushels if I'm estimating correctly. So that should be just enough here for us to clean up this end and unload into our grain cart. So I think what we'll do is park this combine right here, and we'll jump out here. Oh, let's shut the thresher off here. We'll grab the grain cart here, I think, and unload into the grain cart to start with. And then we need to figure out where we're going to put the semi to make our lives easy. I'm wondering if we should put it down here on the other driveway so that we have an easy shot into the farmyard here. Let's think here. Let's grab the semi. Let me take a look at which side our tarps and stuff are on, and we'll figure out where we want to put this guy. He needs to warm up a little bit anyway. If I pull into the field headland on this side, we're going to have the tarp on the wrong side for loading the semi. So I think what we're going to do is run this guy back around the yard and bring it up in through the other driveway entrance here. And so if we just bring him in right here along the trees, park him somewhere like this, that way we're not technically on the field and we can load him up right here. I think this is going to be the best bet. And I just want to go ahead. Normally I probably wouldn't need to unload so early here. I just want to make sure everything is working appropriately here with the cart. It's our first dump of the season. Best to make sure it's all configured properly. Get the spout pointed out appropriately here. Looks like we're good to go. Tractor's revving up here quite a bit as we dump this corn, so that's a pretty cool feature. I like when mods do that. So I think everything's working out fine here. So we're going to go ahead and jump back into the combine and take this down to the other end of the field. And we need to try and take the headlands off up on that end of the field as well, just to get the field fully opened up so that we can work here. And I'm kind of curious just to see how far we're going to be able to get before we fill up with this combine. Looks like we've got a fairly detailed cab here. I'm really liking all the lights and the indicators here. I'm kind of curious, the straw chopper light is actually on the HUD here up on the top of the screen. I'm wondering if I turned off cutting up the straw, if that would disable or not. It does not appear to. Our side panel, we do have the various gauges moving just a little bit. We've got our fill level there actually listed for the tank, it looks like, which is cool. So as we continue to gain additional liters of corn here, since everything in the base game is liters, that's showing up there. We do have our kilometers an hour and our RPM speeds. Pretty cool displays here. And it does look like even the GPS screen has a changing value here. I'm not sure exactly what that is. Looks like maybe gallons per hour for the fuel consumption. So I always like when mods have working gauges and stuff inside. That little attention to detail is much appreciated. It gives it that sense of immersion. We're gonna try and take a headland pass off here. If we turn our HUD back on here, whoops. You can see we're already at 82%. So I'm not sure we'll get the full round in here, but we'll at least be able to get started. I'll probably take these 12 rows down here along the barn just to give us a little bit of extra working room on this end as well, so that we can get down here and take the other headland pass off. And we'll probably just keep pulling forward till we hit that 100% full. Can almost hear the little sprinkle of corn coming up over the edge of the hopper there onto the cab. So we're gonna put this right up here and hopefully be able to get our grain cart in here to unload us without being on the road. There's not a lot of space up here. Luckily, we're pretty friendly with the neighbor here, so he doesn't mind if we leverage his driveway just a little bit here. And it looks like this is just wide enough for us to squeeze in here and get down to the end without having to go all the way around the field. Not that this is the largest field, but this is a convenient cut through between these two fields. I think we will bring the combine back down on this edge though, just to completely open this up and give us a little bit more working area here. But we're definitely going to leverage this in the short term to get back and forth very quickly. And we're going to pull up here nice and close just to make sure our auger isn't hanging out over onto the road. We'd hate for somebody to come flying by and take our auger off. I know that there is traffic on this map. I've seen a few cars. Not too frequent though. And I think we'll actually just park this grain cart here for the time being and hop back into the combine. I want to take this other headland pass off, and then I want to finish opening up this end of the field, taking off the headland passes here, and then we will likely dump one more time on this end before we head back down. Just because we did hit almost 80%, I think, on the way up here, and so I don't think we're gonna make it all the way down the field if we try to do that after taking off these headlands. And we've probably got enough room here on the other side of this barn to turn around with that big gravel area, so I'm just going to continue to open up this end of the field as well since we're here, and we should be getting about full once we do that. I guess realistically we probably would have planted this at an angle around that curve, and I'd just follow that. It's probably a silly feature request, but that would be something that personally I would love to see in Farm Sim 22, is actual crop angles. And so if I planted something at a curve, when I go to harvest it, it still looks like it's at a curve. I understand from a game performance perspective why they don't do that, but it would be really cool and add to that level of immersion if the crops that you're harvesting actually represented exactly how and where you were planting them originally, so that there was actually a concept of crop rows. That would be really cool. And once again, we're taking the headland off here on this field, and I realize that this field is a lot wider than I gave it credit for. Coming up on the end here, it looks like we're at 84%, so I don't think there's a strong likelihood of me getting all the way back down to the other end of the field here, but we are going to make the attempt to finish opening up this field. We're coming right up here on 100%, and we are full, so let's get that auger out. We'll run over here and grab the grain cart real quick. This should be the last dump that we need to make opening up the field. I think we'll be able to take what we have left and head on back down this side of the field. We are going to turn around on the road here real quick. We're going to do the ever dangerous pass with our augers on the same side. See if we can judge the distance and not cause any significant damage while also staying off of the road. And I think we can also probably just start a worker off here on the headland pass and hopefully keep up with him here. A little bit of unloading on the go to speed things up. Looks like we're getting a solid 7 miles an hour on harvest here right now. Seems a mite faster than usual. The camera gets a little bit weird with this particular setup, chasing from behind. Something I remember from the Flint Hills playthrough as well. I think it helps if I get a little bit further off of the combine. I'll leave this guy here, and then I want to grab this combine before he decides to turn back around here. I think we just want to get him dumped out, and then we're going to go ahead and take the pass in the middle of the field here in our first field. I do want to get these fields harvested independent from each other now that we've got them opened up. And so we're going to let the worker take this on, get going here down to the end of the field. And we're already at 72% with the grain cart here. And so I think we'll be able to follow the combine down here. And once he gets turned around at the end, we'll be able to unload him and hopefully have a full load here to go dump into the semi. And it looks like we're in just the right spot to dump on the go here. Hopefully get this combine all emptied out this pass. But it does look like the unload speed's probably just a little bit slow on this combine. And so we're harvesting corn at a pretty fast rate compared to how fast we're dumping it out. So I'm not sure we're going to actually get him all the way emptied here before we're full up, which is okay. He's got plenty of capacity to keep going here. So we've got a full load. Let's bring this back to the semi here and see how we're gonna do filling this up. I can't actually recall what the capacity is on this particular trailer, but we've already got at least one hopper from the combine in here, so I think this is gonna get pretty close to filling it up, maybe not quite. Well, this grain cart could definitely use a shot in the arm from a unload speed perspective. That took entirely longer than I was expecting, and our combine is almost back down here on the end. I'm really hoping that it has the capacity to make the turnaround here. It's looking like it's gonna fill up just as it gets to the end though. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Literally a foot left to go here. So we're gonna go ahead and just grab this combine, I think, and unload it directly into this grain cart here and get just a little bit dropped out and get going again, and we can unload the rest on the way back down the field, as I would really like to keep this combine moving, especially with how slow the unload speed here is on it. And so we've got enough here, I think, to pick up these couple of rows that we missed real quick, and let's go ahead and just get him going again on the long rows. Thankfully we left the 8530 running here, so we should be able to get right up in here and keep him moving. I'm hoping we don't have to have him stop. There we go. And with the slower unload speed, I'm thinking as we get to the end here, now that we've got capacity in our grain cart, we'll be able to completely empty him as we get to the end of the field here. And he should have the capacity to make it back down then. I think the problem was last time we filled up the grain cart well before the combine was empty. And so we've got just about enough room to make a pass, a little bit more than one full pass on these fields with the yields that we're getting. So the combine is just the right size for what we're trying to do, I feel like. I would be really frustrated, I think, if we couldn't make it to the end of the field without having to unload. That would mean we're just a little bit too small on the hopper there. So this is going to work out really well for us with these particular fields. And it looks like the hopper's just about emptied here, but I am going to keep letting it dump until we get to the end row, and then we'll jump in and assist the worker with getting over onto the next set of rows here, because it looks like we're going to overlap the long rows by one row of corn here. Put our pipe in just to make sure that we don't run into that barn there. And then we're just going to grab these extra 2 rows that we need to pick up here so that we can match up with our long way back down. Looking good. And if we just grab our grain cart here, I think we'll head back down and top this semi off. I think that we've got just enough in here to fill up the rest of that semi, and then we can take it over and get the grain dryer moving. This map does have global company with corn drying mechanics on it, and so we definitely need to make sure that we keep that thing running, because I'm not sure what the speed is on the dryer here, and so I don't want to be drying corn for days and weeks on end. We don't have that big of a farm here. We should be able to get most of this corn dried as we're harvesting it, I would think. And while we're doing that, we're going to bring up the global company menu. We're going to go into our corn dryer here, find our propane, and we're probably going to add, we'll say 2,000 liters of propane to start with, just to get us going. It's only $365, so not a big deal. I just don't see a need to overbuy. With our propane bought and our semi full here, we're going to go ahead and pull this guy out of the way here. And I think we're going to just jump into this semi and run it up to the bin here. And then around then, our combine should be getting turned around, and we can run back out here and unload him. We might not quite make it back in time to keep him moving, we'll see. But I do want to just get this corn going into the dryer here real quick and make sure that everything is going to work appropriately here. It's always mildly nerve-wracking the first time you do something on a new map. I'm sure this is going to work just fine, but you never know. So we've got our hopper here over the grates. Should be good to go, and I'm encouraged by the fact that our corn dryer just popped on here. Got the nice steam effect here. In fact, if I hop out of the truck here, you can see we've got a pretty cool animation here. It's looking good. So let's go ahead and get the second hopper dump in here. Our combine is getting full, and I just want to take a quick look at the global company menu here. If we come in and look at our corn dryer, you can see we don't have that much capacity for the wet corn, but our dry corn capacity is a bit higher. Not that high though. 750,000 liters is not a lot of capacity given the size of these bins, but it should do for our corn harvest. I think we'll be able to get everything into here. And so we're gonna just take this thing right back out to our field edge, get it set up. We may want to expand the size of these bins at some point, but we're not gonna worry about that for today. And I think we're just gonna drop this semi right back about where we had it. Maybe we'll pull it forward a bit since we'll be working down on the farther end of the field here now. I'm thinking we're going to be able to finish this field up now and get that into this next combine, or at least into the combine and the grain cart. I don't think we'll need to take another load up to the grain bin here until we've got this field done. But it's good to have the grain dryer running now. And we also now know that everything works. So I think I am going to bump the time scale up here to 5x so that the grain dryer can work a little bit more while we're actually farming. We've got all day. It's only 8:50 in the morning here, so I feel confident we're going to get all of our corn done today, no problem. And our beans should be catching up from a harvest perspective here shortly. We did plant them a bit later than the corn, and so I think that they should be ready to harvest, if not today, tomorrow. I know they were running about one growth cycle behind. I'm going to go ahead and pull up here so that the worker kind of gets going. We might as well finish unloading the combine on the go, since I'm going to want to make sure that he gets completely emptied out as we get to the end of the field here so that he can make it back and do his round. And there he goes. We should be good to go now. He should be able to make it all the way back down to the other end and get turned around, and we can unload him again on his way back up. I'm going to run this grain cart back down to the other end of the field here and wait for him to catch up. We might as well dump the 600 bushels we had in the cart here, since our auger's a little bit slower than we are used to, and we're waiting down here on the end of the field anyway for the combine to get back down. We're right up against the trees here, which is probably where I'd be parked in real life on this field. I'm maybe not quite that close to the trees. I didn't want the branches getting into the semi-trailer there. But it does make for some poor camera angles when you're sitting inside the tractor here. I guess we could always go in cab and look around. And this tractor does have the weight monitor from Perma's Modding, and so it's really handy to be able to be in cab here and see how much corn we've got left in the back. And so we are empty now. I'm gonna go ahead and get ourselves out of the way here, since our combine is coming back down here to unload. Give him a little bit of space to turn around, and we'll unload him on the go here again. If we just jump into the global company menu here real quick, I can see that all of our corn already moved over into the dry capacity here with our time sped up, so the dryer is definitely running at an accelerated rate. I wouldn't have expected it to dry all of that corn just yet. It's only been about 30 minutes, so I guess my concerns over the speed at which we're drying corn on this map were unjustified. However, we are starting to run a bit long today, and so I think this is a good spot to wrap up today's video. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for more daily farm sim content. And we'll see you next time for more corn harvesting on Mercer County. That's all for today. Kedrick, out.